To Reopen or Not to Reopen by Manohar Man Shrestha. Introduction. People around the world are fed up with the lockdown. People are scared of the coronavirus. Some countries have reopened their countries. The unthinkable choice has to be made: life or livelihood. Millions of people who lived hand to mouth or on a month-to-month basis are taking an unimaginable beating to not only their dignity but even their physical well-being. I present a 2 by 2 matrix of this catch-22 doomed anyway situation. We have to make a choice. Some government made it consciously, some unconsciously. So there are four possible scenarios as shown in the next slide. Four scenarios on reopening or not. So as you can see from this 2 by 2 matrix, there are four scenarios. The x-axis represents the action, two possible actions here, and the y-axis represents the result, two possible results. Let's go to the bottom left. That's your soccer scenario. Yeah. So the action is to keep the lockdown, but the result is, oops, sorry, there's no second surge. Now, on the right up is the worst scenario. Now, this is really the worst scenario. The action is reopen, and the result is the second scenario. Ooh, you're screwed. Then on your left side upper quadrant is a see I told you scenario. The action is keep the lockdown, and the result is a second surge despite the lockdown. And that's a consolation prize, but still there's no winner, but still uh, not so bad as the worst case scenario. Then the best case scenario is, of course, action is reopen and the result is no surge. By surge, everybody must understand it means the second surge means the reoccurrence of coronavirus, which we have seen in various parts of the world, here lately in China, in Singapore, um, and in various where they closed or reopened the economy. Now, this slide, here we have to understand the characteristics of the coronavirus. Basically, there are three stages. Number one is infection, number two is transmission, and the third is symptom, and the fourth is, I've not shown here, is death, of course, which is a 3% probability, 3% chance of death. Anyway, so infection means that the person has been infected by someone nearby or by touching something. And transmission is, yes, as you understand, as the word says it, that the virus is being transmitted around. And the symptoms, the usual symptoms that we know is dry cough, fever, etc. Now, the problem now is it can be more than 14 days before the infected person shows any symptoms. And that is a problem. So a person who is infected, before that person shows any symptoms to himself, herself, or to anyone, starts transmitting, keeps transmitting, and infecting all people for 14 days before, up to more than 14 days in many cases, the symptoms are seen, and that's the characteristic of the coronavirus. The risk is, experts say that it will take up to 5 to 6 weeks before, after reopening, to see if the result is a second surge. So that is the most risky bet we can imagine. As a leader, you have to take such a risk. But if you don't open the economy, that's also a risk. If you open, that's also a risk. So even the best brain scientists and game theorists could not have come up with a more difficult dilemma. It must be this dilemma, this one about reopening or not opening, is really worse than the prisoner's dilemma. I'll not be covering in this slide because it will take too long. But you can look it up and through your internet. But then, so the outcome of reopening is grim. There is no easy solution, unless, of course, we think out of the box. Instead of reopening, why not redesign the economy around the scenario that the virus will not go away for at least 1 year? Now, WHO, you must be reminded, is maybe saying that it might never go away. But at least let's be more optimistic and say at least 1 year. That will take some serious thinking by millions of people. Now, the old generation of entrepreneurs, yeah, the big shots of the pre-coronavirus world, will be stuck in their liabilities. They'll have debtors they have debtors to get payment from, creditors to pay back, employees to pay, negotiations to the landlords, the government. They'll be stuck. Their brains will not be able to work in this environment. So these tasks fall on the new generation of entrepreneurs who have no assets, no liabilities currently, and they have to think in a totally new way. So, and I think that's the best solution. That's the best way. And so I urge from this video, from my presentation, to all the new guys who don't have liabilities, don't sit on your laurels. Think of a new world, of a world where maybe this virus will not go away and people will still have to live. Uh, the, but then it has to go on. So think of new ways in which people will be willing to spend money, will be willing to work, new ways, and there must be something. And it's in the hand of a generation of new entrepreneurs that the world is resting. And before it was just lip service. Now it's really up to you guys, the youth, again, who have no liabilities.